something called an adaptive component. So an adaptive component works in the fact that it's just going to allow me to connect the dots with everything. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do a new family, and in this case, it's not pattern based. It's going to be under the generic model adaptive. And I click on open. It's going to look similar, but it's going to have nothing in it. So it looks kind of like a massing family mixed with a generic model family, and that's pretty much what it is. So what I need to first do is say, okay, my geometry is going to require me to have 3 points, 1, 2, and 3. They can be placed anywhere. And then I even want to go ahead and move them really out of plane, right? Because there's an advantage to this. So now when I looked at this family's compiling, and I select all my geometry, filter that, apply, we'll isolate that. So these points are similar, but they're different in the fact that they're adaptive points. So they're kind of have an embedded coding to them that says, I am waiting to be placed onto something else, right? And the indication of that is the numbers at the top. So we need to make those new pieces that I had look the same way. So how I do that, so I'll tab through here. I'm going to select those points, 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going to make adaptive with those. Now they're adaptive points. So I'm building my own set of lines. And maybe I want a 4th in there, or a 5th. So let's do 5. Okay. So then I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to create model lines so you can see what this does. I'm not going to worry about doing geometry at this point. We'll make sure 3D snapping is on. I'm going to go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. Connect those lines, and then 5 is going to get a line connected to all of them. Right? And then I'll take my pieces, and I'm just going to flex those up to make sure that every line that I made is attached to those points. Because if I don't do this, then all of a sudden everything breaks again on me. And then you get frustrated and cranky and you're tired, and that's just no good. So it doesn't really matter what this looks like now, right? It's just that idea of this order of operations. So I'll go ahead and load that in. Now, what it's doing is every division has a point associated with it, and I can't really see that now because I don't have my points on. So before I do that, I'm going to go on one of my surfaces here, and I'm going to say that I'm going to turn on my nodes. So now I can see my points, and then I'm going to snap geometry to this bottom surface as well. That's going to be my 5th point. And I'm going to turn on nodes. And there we go. So those should even work too, I think. Okay, so then if I've exited out of that command and I'm making an adaptive point, I just go to my families, I look for generic models, and I see my adaptive family 6. Drag that in, and I'm going to go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, then 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, right? So you can see how I'm beginning to build out that geometry. So you have to be really careful. Again, it's all about order of operations with this. Does that make sense to everybody? So then if I need something custom, I build a bunch of surfaces or planes for it, and I connect that data. Or maybe I need to put a column at the base of this. So if I needed to put a column on it, right? I know I have the bottom component of that. I'll go to my top view. I'm going to make a plane. Turn off my 3D snapping. And I'm going to create form from that. Okay, make sure your work plane is set to be on the bottom. Then I'm just going to go my level 1 to make sure I'm on level 1. and then I'm going to make a rectangle here. Select my piece, create form, go to my 3D view, and really I only need that bottom surface, so I'll delete off the top. Okay, tab through. Then on this one I'm going to divide out that surface as well, and I really only want 2 by 1. And then on this is I'm going to do the same thing and put on a nodal point so that that adaptive component works in between multiple surfaces. So if I needed a column, I'm going to take that same family 6, and I'm going to connect 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, and then I'm going to drag it down for 5. Right? Make sense? So if I really took the time, I could build this whole entire project out of one family, right? It just might take me a really long time to set up that relationship. So any questions? So that completes that for that. So I mean, from that methodology, you should be able to begin thinking about how I would do panels for your project, right? For your project, for your project. Does that help you with your truss now? Yeah. Okay. Does that make sense? That help a lot of people on the project. I think this is applicable to at least every single project at some point in this class. Okay. So again, you know, I don't have a TA, so I think I'm going to purposely put you guys a week behind me. So now the videos that I put up yesterday for you, that's the homework for next week. So make sure that you're continuing working on your projects. And that way, at least I'm a week ahead of you on creating videos, and there's not a lag in content. And then you're not yelling at me that I couldn't complete the homework because you didn't have the videos up. Right? So we're going to eliminate that excuse. Does that help you, Chang, on your project? All right, so that's it. If you have any remaining questions, I'll get to them. Otherwise, we'll see you next week.